Thank you so much for coming. It's amazing to see you all. I love seeing people from everywhere. And aside from the fact that I'm very, very upset that we're supposed to get snow, except for in my corner, welcome. Enjoy your snow. Lucky people. If you look in the Q&A quickly, I will leave the link to our feedback form. Please, at some point in time, fill it out. You get a certificate. Everyone loves certificates. We love feedback. Oh, good.
How we doing?
Okay,
hey there. How do I do the? I'm not seeing the share button.
So down underneath the screen, you should see a little monitor. It probably has a line through it right now. You hover over that. It says Open Share Menu.
Excellent. I will do that.
There you go.
No. All right.
And the way this works is like whatever you see, we see. You know.
I'll stay off my email.
I mean, yeah. If you open up the tabs, you know, whatever you see on the screen, everybody sees on the screen.
I'll add my welcome to Sean's. Hello, everybody. So happy to see so many people here tonight. Very exciting.
Hello. Please make sure that everyone has migrated over. I'm so excited. And there's like a lot of you. Love it. Seriously, it's amazing that so many of you took time out of your Monday. Didn't realize it was Valentine's week until my kids came home with Valentine's. So great job with me. Thank you, Jason, for helping us out here.
Yeah, sure. No problem. It's quite literally what I get paid to do. Give everybody a few minutes maybe to get in and find us in here.
Today is a great day.
Yes, it is. Very excited. I see 42 people in here already.
Yeah.
Snow day. I got it. I finally got it.
Hello, Jill. Hello, Dana. Hello, Robert.
Hello, all you beautiful people. I'm so excited. I just got my snow day.
Hey.
We want you guys to get certificates. So, and like, we want to be able to help you out in case we get disconnected. Hey, John, can you do me a favor and advance the slide? Perfect. Thank you. So we have a feedback form. Please say hello. It's great to see you. Also, your feedback form will give us some data. That is our new updated form. I also left it in the main room on our Q&A, so it's kind of posted there. Hopefully there aren't a lot of questions. So this way it'll just stay right at the top because we all know it's too easy to lose. Thank you, Jason, for pinning it.
You got it.
Oh, my little penguin goes slower.
And just like Danas. Thank you, all of you Danas.
Welcome, all the Danas.
Sorry about that. Thank you for your flexibility, folks. What we ran into is, Winnie, we can't hear you. But what happened?
Share.
There you go. Hi from another Dana. What we ran into is there's a capacity limit on the Zoom that we'd hit, and we didn't want to exclude anyone. So thankfully, Jason came to our rescue and allowed us to switch over to Bring Central. So we really appreciate the flexibility from CSTA and the support from CSTA National.
Happy to help.
Woo!
Hey, Aisha. All right, who's got snow days?
Finally got mine. I am so excited because
hey, Jordan.
The trend south, especially on the euro, was not in my favor.
Yep, carries off. Creek is down. Hartford's down.
Whew.
Winnie, is that the snow you have right now? Or is that the snow you're supposed to get? Got it. Just anticipating that snow.
Northwestern Connecticut was supposed to be the one that like missed. It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird. John, could you please go to the next slide? We'll start us off with some positivity and get this rolling since we have so many of you. Congratulations, Kathleen. So our agenda for today is linked on the slides that were in the lovely thing. Starting off with a little bit of positivity while I introduce myself and John and Jason, who you can see on screen. So my name is Sean Tobin. I am the very hopefully short-term president for Connecticut Computer Science Teachers Association. What started off as just our wonderful, normal little monthly meeting, we invited our treasurer, Jacqueline Corricelli, to come in and speak, and it has become this beautiful connection of teachers that we have tonight. With me tonight is John Tush. I actually
Hi there. I'm John Tush. I'm the theme coach from Comp Sci High up in Enfield, and I'm your vice president, serving for as long as you'll have me. And I'm very happy to be here and excited for so many people coming to our meeting tonight. So thank you for coming out.
Not on screen, but you'll see her in the chat unless she would like to come up. If you would like to share, you can click down at the top. Is Dana Runkle. She is our secretary, one of the many Danas, or all the Danas that are here tonight. And our treasurer is Jackie, who you will hear from a lot later. Oh, good. So
Jordan figured out how to skip over.
Good. Welcome,
Sorry.
former Dana. Oh, perfect.
Got it. So if you go incognito and register yourself, you can come back in. Jason pumped the numbers way up, so we're cool with that.
Just fill out the form. Please fill out the form that's pinned at the top. So every now and then we need to be positive. So our goal for here is to make this as meaningful for you guys as it has been for us. So even little things like I'm confident in my abilities. It's not an imposter syndrome. You guys are amazing. You're giving up time on a Monday evening to do PD with all of us and hopefully meet some new people. And that's amazing. So welcome. Thank you. Everyone is doing their best and we really appreciate that. So yeah. All right.
And would you like, Sean, folks to put the affirmation that resonates with them into the chat?
Or they can click on the screen, just like Mr. Chris Kerr has just done.
Or click on the screen or put it in the chat, whichever one feels good to you.
The work I do matters. I'm meant to be a teacher. I treat myself with kindness and respect. I really need to work on that one. Everyone is doing their best, including me. And all of these really wonderful things that we just need to kind of remember. It's remembering your why, guys. It's remembering your why. But not in a way that admin tells you when they're trying to give you an extra duty. Like actually remember it for yourself and know that we're here for you and that we want to support you the best we can. And also the feedback form, which gives you a certificate, helps us provide that extra little bit of insight. So thank you. And I think you guys are all wonderful. Love this. Love what I'm saying. All right. John, if you could do the next slide, please. So quickly, we had a little bit of change at last minute, which I did not get a chance to update here, but I did update in later slides. We have a couple of updates from our local partners in Connecticut, Dr. Mehdi Mekni, Dr. Sahar Al-Sizi. Dr. Norm Sondheimer is not here, but has updates, Dr. Winnie Yu and Dr. Brian O'Neill. Next slide, please. So in case you were wondering, here we are. If you need to contact us, feel free to use the email at the bottom, connecticut@csteachers.org. We are all around the state teaching a variety of different subjects and everything else. So welcome. In addition to our chapter officers, thank you. Oh, hey, David. Next, please. We were trying to streamline it and make it easier by only having one person present, and then I realized I can't. We have our other advisors. We have another Dana, because we love all Danas. Jen Michalak, Chris Kerr is our past president, Dr. Norm Sondheimer, and Dr. Bradley Gell. Next slide, please. And our great band advisors are Bernie Lally, Dana again, and Dr. Winnie Yu. Next slide, please.
So updates and events. Oh no, that's you. Sorry. It's still you.
I'm not Peggy. So, Dr. McNee, are you able to join us on screen and share your amazing opportunities with Gen Cyber? Is he not here yet? I know, I love Gen Cyber. What about Dr. Sahar Al-Sisi? Are you here? And you want to jump in first? I know it's a slightly different format, and I'm sorry. It's a little trial by fire. Great. Please do us a favor and click join. And we can hear you talk about your amazing opportunities with Southern Connecticut State University's computational biology program.
And Dr. McNee also identified himself too. So.
Oh, good. So guys, please join. Request audio. Hi, Dana. It should be at the top. Thank you, Carrie. Once you start sharing it, it looks totally different. And I'm like, I don't know, mine's wrong.
Thank you for your patience, everyone. We're all learning this software. Thank you.
Okay.
Welcome.
So can you hear me now? Can you hear me? I can see myself now. Can you hear me? Okay. Perfect. Thank you very much for having me in your meeting. So I'm very excited to talk to you about this computational biology program. We are recruiting for our second cohort. So this is an NSF-funded program. It is an STEM grant, which is a grant to recruit, educate, and graduate academically talented students with demonstrated financial need. So, it has to be a STEM program. So in our case, we are recruiting students to study both a computational major with a biological minor or vice versa. So they graduate with this computational biology skill set, which is rare to find a major on the undergraduate level. So there are master programs and PhD programs. There are a few undergraduate programs. There is only one in Connecticut, and we're trying to we don't have a major in it, but we're trying to do that through combining a major and a minor. The program offers students up to $10,000 annually for 4 years. And it is, in addition to that, they do summer research and they get paid summer research. They have, we are a group of 6 faculty from computer science, biology, and chemistry and mathematics. So they get an assigned mentor that checks with them and see, like, just make sure that everything is going fine. They are part of a small cohort. So our first cohort is 13 students, and we're trying to recruit about 12 students for the second year. The student starts together with a summer bridge program. Then they are together in a learning community through our first year experience program. So like they stay together in the same dorm. So they really form a support system for each other. And the computational biology is a field that is really needed. That's So they study they study a little bit of genetics and a little bit of computer science. So they graduate knowing how to analyze all the genomics and genetics related data that is currently we're getting more and more of that, and we don't have enough people at the undergraduate level graduating at the undergraduate level with that skill set. So I'm going to post in the chat a link to a flyer for the program with a QR code for our website, and if you can share that with your seniors, we would really appreciate it. We are looking for some.
Yeah, actually, I've also shared the link to the webpage, so that.
Thank you very much, Minnie. Yeah,
that's the one called the Combined Scholarship that's coming up.
Yes.
Yes.
That's one. So, because I saw a few people in the thread asking about that. So that's the link, and we will make that available on our website as well when we're done.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And if
Dr. Yu, did you want Dr. Yu want to give your updates on NC WIT?
Okay, so Darwin's actually the mastermind behind this NC WIT Aspiration in Computing annual event and recognition for students, in computing in Connecticut. He cannot be here, so I'm on the committee as well. So but he wrote actually quite a bit. So I just want to pull out maybe some of the highlights and share with everybody. So I love the way he opened his notes. He said Connecticut has only about 1% of the U.S. population, but we have about 5% of the students who have been nationally recognized by NC WIT. So we actually have one national winner, from the Academy of Aeroscience and Engineering, and her name is Anna Lois Davis. Is Chinma here? And then we also have our small state has 17 national honorable mention recipients. Yes. So it's very wonderful. So is Christine Lawler King here? Yeah. So all these recognitions and names, I would definitely share, and that one definitely share with Sean, and then maybe we can recognize all, everybody in the newsletter rather than Winnie here reading everybody's names. How's that sound? Okay. All right. Okay. What is it? Do what Jason says. Okay.
No, thank you so much. Dr. Mechny's trying to get in too. So.
Okay, so I can stop here. I just want to be really proud of that. Yeah. Thank you.
Did we have any luck getting Dr. Mechny in?
He's here, but he can't get to the share audio and video. It just spins and doesn't work. My name is Liberty Page. I am the co-PI on the Gen Cyber grant. This summer, the Gen Cyber Teacher Academy is returning. Can you hear me?
We can, yes.
Yeah. Oh, he's in, yes. As Dana, awesome, very impressive. So
yeah, we are all Dana. Sean said we love Dana, so we had a bunch more to the group.
Yeah.
So do you mind?
Pass the baton to my esteemed colleague, Dr. Mehdi Mechny.
Thank you very much, Liberty, and we're gonna get back to you very shortly. So excuse my learning curve here. I'm not very familiar with the platform, so I have to learn how I can share my screen again, if that is possible.
There's a monitor button down below with should have a line through it. And if you hover over that, it should say open share menu. There's a microphone, that's your mic, the camera, that's your camera.
Open share menu.
There
Okay, share screen. Exact. I got it. And now I'm all in. Okay. Give me a sec. I'm going to just share the website of our program. Here we go. You guys can hear me fine, right?
Yes, we can hear you just fine.
Great. So welcome, everyone. My name is Mehdi Mekni. I'm Associate Professor of Computer Science, Cybersecurity. I'm also the coordinator of the Bachelor degree of Computer Science at the University of New Haven. Thank you for the invitation. Sorry for the technical glitches. And it's impressive. You guys in your chapter attract more than 50 people. This is speaks a lot about the success of this event, and we are proud to be with you today to talk a little bit about our program. So I'm here today with my colleague Liberty Page to present the Gen Cyber Academies. We started 2 years ago with Gen Cyber Teacher Academy, the logo that you see to the left here, which is a professional development opportunity or program funded by NSA, NSF to help teachers and tool them with pedagogy and lesson plans and content and knowledge about cybersecurity so that they can transfer that to their classroom. After 2 rounds of teacher focused programs, we have been granted this year the opportunity to not only offer the teacher camp, but also the student camp. The dates, as you can see them, are highlighted here. We have the 8th through the 12th of July for the Teacher Academy, and the 22nd to the 26th of July 2024, of course, for the students. So we're gonna take this opportunity to pitch the 2 programs for your consideration, of course. The website link will be shortly on the website, on the chat section, but it's very easy. It's actually gencyber.newhaven.edu. Excellent. So what the program is, it's actually a week-long, fun, meaningful, hopefully, and engaging professional developments where teachers come and learn about a bunch of topics, including networking, Python, cybersecurity, cryptography, social engineering. Why we would like our teachers to be with us from Connecticut. Although the program is Northeast now, we are trying to attract teachers from all the neighboring states. But our focus and our desire is, of course, to attract as much as we can from the Connecticut in order to promote cybersecurity education. Few things that are quite unique about our programs in terms of benefits, I would say. It's actually, I will go straight to the sections of the benefits. Sorry if I'm scrolling fast. Here we go. So we are valuing your time. I know summer is precious for our educators. So in order to incentivize our teachers, we offering $1,500 stipend for the full program, of course, participation. We are offering a free Chromebook for you to use in your classroom or outside the classroom, personal use. And of course, access to a cumulative curriculum materials from 2 rounds already of Gen Cyber, plus hopefully another rich and productive camp in 2024. Being part of a vibrant community of Gen Cyber teacher learning community, which counts now 50 members, and we still counting and building on that community. 2 more aspects that are very unique to our camp. First one is actually the pedagogy expert. We are actually a team of 5 or 6 teachers. I'm highlighting the team here in front of you. In addition to myself and my colleague Liberty, which is going to talk a little bit about the content and the curriculum in particular. We have also the participant K through 12 pedagogy expert Liz Raday, who will help you actually translate what you learn in the camp into hopefully innovative, engaging activities so that you can attract those and capture the attention of your students in order for them to learn and show interest to cybersecurity. As far as curriculum, I'm going to yield it to my lead instructor, my colleague Liberty Page, who has been running camps for probably over 10 years now. Liberty?
Oh, I don't want to interrupt, but there's a really good question in the chat.
Sorry, I'm not catching that.
Yeah.
Does this happen every summer? So yes and no. So it is happening every summer because we have been successful every year to renew that funding that NSA, NSF is granting us. So if you ask me, is it on annual basis? I would say yes. Is it guaranteed that's going to be next year? It's question mark. We apply, we submit our proposal. We try to have a competitive proposal, but it's up to them to select us, to fund us so that we can offer it. Are there any other questions?
Is this only for Connecticut teachers? Was the follow-up?
Actually not. We started the camp 2 years ago with Connecticut only. It was the first Gen Cyber Teacher Academy in Connecticut, but we quickly expanded. So last year we had people from Rhode Island, we had people from New Jersey, from New York. We are proud of that diversity of teachers, and there is a lot of rich exchange between the teachers. But we are from Connecticut. We value Connecticut, and we would like to serve Connecticut. So it's Connecticut first.
Yep. Jackie posted the National Gen Cyber website, which has all of the locations for either student or teacher camps. Please be careful when you're looking to make sure that you're choosing a teacher camp as a teacher. There's also combination camps, but those are a little bit complicated to apply to because you have to go with your students. We are a separate teacher academy that is just for teachers and a separate student academy that's just for students. We were very honored to get 2 grants funded this year. Mehdi asked me to talk about the classes.
I would like to add something.
Yeah.
One question I see there that might need to be clarified. The $1,500 stipend is for teacher camp. Students come for free, but we don't give them $1,500 stipend. And we are looking for 25 spots. That's the capacity of the Gen Cyber Teacher Academy. The student camp is actually 40 spots, and we would love to have a quite balanced, gender balanced camp among, so that it's inclusive and diverse. Sorry, Liberty, I wanted just to clarify those.
You want me to talk about the classes for the teachers first, correct?
Yes.
So we'll be talking about networking. This is a very beginner-oriented networking class with some fun activities for beginners that can be introduced into your classroom right away. Everything we do, we include some low to no technology components in the activities so that even if you don't have access to any outside technology, you can bring these into your classrooms and help your students start learning. Our networking program, we're very proud to say, has helped our teachers to feel very confident coming out of it, unlike our first attempt, which was not quite as successful. In addition, we talk about cybersecurity awareness, just general awareness of protecting their information and using strong passwords and all of the things that they need to know. In addition, we talk about cryptography, and again, low to no technology through high tech are all offered. We talk about some fundamentals of cryptography, as well as how modern cryptography works. In social engineering, we have a wonderful program, again, that can be taught with very little technology all the way up through high tech on social engineering methods and the challenge around social engineering. Our goal here is to make sure that every teacher walks away with multiple lesson plans. There's lesson planning time built into each and every day. And we share them with each other as well, which is incredible. So you walk away with not just the 2 or 3 or 5, depending on your own efforts, but those that your colleagues are willing to share with you as well. So we're very, very proud.
Thank you so much for your time. There are so many questions coming in the chat. Would you guys stick around kindly and respond to people?
Room and board is not part of our program. However, the university does have housing that you could potentially do out of your stipend.
Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate your time. It's amazing information. I just want to make sure that everyone's moving along to enjoy our hopeful snow day. And really quickly, we had a last minute request from Dr. Brian O'Neill to share with us about our Quinnipiac competition.
Hi, everyone. I promise, Sean, I'll be very quick. So I know many of you are familiar with Quinnipiac University's programming contest for high school students. I'm new faculty at Quinnipiac this year, so I'm excited to let you know that we're planning on offering the programming contest again this year. We have tentatively selected Friday, April 5th as our target date for the programming contest. We believe that's going to help us avoid major testing dates and major holidays and anything like that. If there's a reason why that's a problem that we didn't foresee, please reach out to us and let us know. I'm going to drop my contact information in the chat in a moment. If you're not familiar with our contest, we'll do probably a 6 or 7 programming questions aimed at an intro to programming AP CS level level of difficulty. And our aim is that everybody should be able to solve at least one of the problems. So if you have any questions about that or any issues that you might know about for the dates, I've dropped 2 emails in the chat. One is for Dr. Ruby El-Karbutli, who is the primary organizer of this event, and my own email is in there too. And if I don't know the answer, Ruby will, so I'll pass the information on. So Sean, thank you for letting me take a couple minutes, and that's all I got.
Thank you so much, and we will compile these and make sure that we have everything ready to go. John, we turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much, Dr. O'Neill and folks from Gen Cyber. I'm going to be real quick, and then I'm going to turn it over to the main event because I know why most of us are here right now. I'm going to tell you, thank you for your patience tonight, because I know that so many of you have been watching us learn, and if you've ever had to learn a piece of software or a language right alongside your kid's fellow computer science teacher, drop something in the chat if you've ever had that experience of having to actually dive in and learn with your kids right alongside them because something was brand new to you in your teaching experience. I'd love to hear from you. That's the only ones doing that right now. So that there we go. So real quick, just to let you know, we have Connections Matter. Something somebody said early on was Connections Matter. And that's what we're trying to do when Sean and I kind of took the reins from that amazing executive board that we were so honored to succeed. We didn't replace them, but we only succeeded them. And they left us a beautiful chapter in great order. And we realized that now that they've left this situation to us in such good order with such a positive infrastructure, we wanted to work on increasing our connections. So tonight was one of the first ways in which we did that. So one of our big goals was to involve a lot more PD that would be something that would draw more involvement, and that you're seeing tonight through like bringing in Jackie. And then in this spring, you're going to see more of these. We've got workshops coming up in doing stations in the computer science classroom and identity in the computer science classroom, and some unplugged activities from Betsy Dillard coming up in May. So we've got some things coming down the pike that are really excited. But then the next thing we want to talk about is making connections with us online. So where you can find us, we have blown up our socials, just so you know. So we now have, CSTA has a presence on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, LinkedIn. We have a LinkedIn page, and then of course we still have our website. So if you can, whenever you can, please get involved. And here's what we're asking you to do. We're asking you to become brand ambassadors. And so what that means is we are actually going to put a scroll ring online. We are going to give our most active brand ambassador a scroll ring. And so what we're asking you to do is this. We are asking you to follow us wherever you normally social. So if you're a Facebook person, do that. If you're a Twitter person, do that. We're not asking you to go jump threads. Go where you are. We're going to see and then engage with us. If you see a post, you're going to see on Fridays that Sean's been putting up Freebie Fridays. Me being, older than the pyramids and dirt, I do Throwback Thursdays, and I go in and do things about old technology, or just things in LinkedIn where we talked about the new national technology standard. So please do follow us, and please respond, speak up. One of the things we want to do is raise teacher voices. So Jordan, thank you so much for the support. All of you, thank you so much for the support. Please get involved. tag us. CTCSTA is our tag. So if you can hashtag us or tag us directly, and of course the social links will be on the website as well. One more time, that's the links. That's where you can find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, X, and of course our website. So why you came here. Jackie Corricelli is a teacher at Conard High School in West Hartford. She's also district coach. She's also works with the AP CSP National Board. She has been a table leader for many years. And she is coming to share success strategies in AP Computer Science principles. This conversation, anybody who's ever taught AP CSP, and I know I have, AP CSP is something we all have a lot of strong feelings about. And then we all had a lot of changes this year that we had to deal with. Jackie's not here to explain the rationale behind the changes, any of that. We wanted to really focus on, since most people who are teaching AP CSP, you're headed into the create task right now, and then right after that, the test. We wanted to give you the meat and potatoes, what's going to be best for your kids, and some of the things that she's doing in West Hartford to help her kids be successful. And then the Q&A afterwards will also be about how to help your kids be successful. So we're going to keep our discussion very narrowly focused on how to help kids be super successful in this new format of AP CSP, particularly since Ms. Corricelli knows an awful lot about it. She was in the room where it happened, as they say in Hamilton. So without further ado, I turn this over to Jackie Corricelli. That was the moment of applause.
Hi.
Let's see if we can get her in. There we go. There she is.
Yay. Hi, everyone. I'm hoping I'm audible. I'm going to present my screen.
You're all good.
Yay.
I'll stop sharing mine. It's all yours, Jackie.
Thank you. And I very much appreciate that warm welcome. I also want to share a couple of disclaimers. Like you, I am teaching this stuff and I'm very much in the thick of figuring it out, which is why we wanted to try to offer this. I don't know if I necessarily even view it as PD, but like a team huddle. Let's see. And I wanted to also share out some specific things that we're doing that we've done throughout the year to communicate. There's 4 other computer science principals teachers in my district. So things that I've shared with them to communicate about the changes that I'm hoping that perhaps by you being here, you can also bring back to your states or your district. And then I also wanted to share out some things that we're going to try to see if they would work. Now, again, here are my slides in case you wanted to follow along. But again, I want to just say that this is what we're thinking will work. And well, a little bit about myself. So I've been a reader since the very first reading in 2006. That was a reading for the 40 pilot schools. I've been a leader in the AP readings since 2017, and I'm super excited. I'll be a question leader this year. I'm a member of the development committee, which I just started in July amidst all these changes. And this summer, I'll be a consultant for Summer Institute in St. Johnsbury in July. My email is here in case there's something that you'd like to talk about after this presentation. I will say that one of my favorite things to do is to talk to people and figure out problems with them. So speaking of, Lin-Manuel, like I'm speaking as if he's my friend, but speaking about him, it turns out that working with other people, I truly believe just makes you smarter. I think that's proven. And so again, I want to say that this is about teamwork here, and I'm just sharing out what I think is going to work for us. So first, I want to give a little historical context about what happened. So what happened is, in a nutshell, ChatGPT changed a lot. In our classrooms, we can certainly appreciate that. And it changed a lot for us at the AP reading. We ended up receiving a lot of submissions that were ChatGPT. And so as a result, we came up with a plan for how to pivot pretty quickly over the summer. And so this is a kind of a direct result of that pivot. More things haven't changed than have changed. So while I share a couple more slides about what has changed, because I want to be super explicit about those changes, I want to also clarify, and this is the way I sort of said it to our teachers too, is more that is the same than different. The only difference is that students are writing at the end of the year instead of during the year. What hasn't changed is it's still the same 70-question multiple choice. It's still 2 hours for that multiple choice. And students are still creating their coding task or create task on their own. And students will hand in their video and program code by the end of April. That is all the same. And I'm going to pause strategically. So in a couple slides, I'll pause. If people are posting on the chat, Sean and Dana, my understanding, and John are going to sort of do their best to answer, but they'll also let me know if something is showing up that needs attention. And again, students will hand in their video and their program code by the end of April. What has changed is that now students are going to create what's called a personalized project reference. That's fancy talk for the same 4 pieces of code that students were sharing in the create task originally. But 4 pieces of code are: 1, a list being initialized with values; 2, the list being used; 3, a procedure with 1 parameter with sequence selection iteration; and 4, that procedure being used. The personalized project reference, and I noticed I underlined that, not because it's a link, but because it's super important. When students are sharing that, there should be no comments, no citations, no comments whatsoever in that personalized project reference. That's important because if there are, we are instructed to not read it. So please make sure your students don't include comments. Students will have access to the personalized project reference. It'll be printed for all students, even if it's a digital exam. Students will use this to write responses to 4 prompts that are related to code and the code that's contained in the reference sheet. And students will have 1 hour to do this, and that makes 30% of their AP score. So in total, their AP will be like other APs now, 3 hours in length, 2 hours for multiple choice, and 1 hour for the writing part. So before I go into the details of the writing part, were there any questions so far?
Jackie, one came in from Aisha. Can students include comments in program code?
Absolutely, they should. So they would include the comments to cite their program code, or even just for their own sanity as they're programming. Students won't be able to see that. And Aisha, I'm looking in the camera as if I can see you, because I can't see you, and it's helping me. But students won't be able to see their code when they're writing their written responses, but the graders will be able to see their code. And I will say that there's a lot of people in the room right now that have a lot of great knowledge about this course. You know, we're a team here tonight. So if you have something to add, or if there's something reassuring you'd like to say, or something that is resonating, please feel free. I'm, again, just trying to be a teammate, right? We're all working through this thing together. It's quite a big change this year.
Got another question that came in about the PPR, or about the create task from Christopher.
Yep.
Can the list be initialized empty and populated in the program? If so, can images be included? If so, can the images included would want the blank initialization code, or the code that populates it?
The code that populates it. That hasn't changed. Okay.
Oh, and there's another question. Is this a doc or a separate image files? Carrie's asking.
So I haven't seen the interface that they're going to use to collect this. But my guess is these are going to be image files. It's going to be on the digital portfolio that students hand this stuff in. They're going to hand it in by the end of April 30, and they're going to upload those things, my guess, as 4 separate image files.
And then one more for Christopher. But can you initialize a list without entries and satisfy the first image of the PPR?
Initialize a list without entries. I don't know if I understand what you mean, Chris.
I think Christopher's clarifying.
Mm-hmm.
And Carrie added, and then you should show it being appended, Carrie added.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're working in Python, yep, that's fine. Anything where it's going to be the same, that part it's not changing, you know?
Oh, and then Christopher added, create empty list block.
No, so it should have, it should show data being stored in the list. So that
and Mark added, and Mark added, an empty list will not receive the point.
Thank you, Mark. Yeah, like I said, there's people, you know, with so many years of experience with this course, friends in the room. So please, thank you so much for the help.
Betsy added, the AP coordinators have been asked to print out material. Is this the PPR?
Yes, correct. That is what they'll have to, and it has to be printed. Originally, I thought it was going to be digital, but it's going to be printed for everyone. So you may want to give your AP coordinator a heads up that that's happening this year. Even if it's a digital test, students are going to get a printed PPR.
And then I have a question from Adam. Is the code.org data set satisfactory for the list requirement?
So any data set is satisfactory that's stored in a list. A lot of this, and I forget the name of this person, is it Adam?
That was from Adam, yes, from code.
Adam, yeah, so Adam, what we find a lot of times with this is it's not the coding language. It's the student first has to follow directions and show a list with data being stored, and then they have to write about it well. The written response shows that the student gets it, or it shows that they don't understand it. Their written response means a lot. But to set them up for success, it should show data being stored in a list. If that's what they're doing in code.org, that's great.
And can the PPR be printed in color?
Yeah, it's up to your AP coordinator how they want to print it. I know what you're saying because of the blocks. I'm sure ours won't be printed in color. Okay.
So the PPR is the 4 images being printed for grading by the reader along with the student's response on the exam day?
So the PPR is what students will take into the exam to help them to be able to do their written responses.
Okay. And do we need to train the students in the written response?
So that's what I'm going to next. You're like my segue, unless there's someone else.
Onward and upward.
Okay.
Onward and upward. We've got a few people also picking up. We won't be able to get to everybody's questions. These are awesome questions, and we thank you for them. I want to thank David, and there's someone else who's Mark, who've been jumping in and helping us a lot there too with the questions.
Thank you. Yeah, like I said, it's a team effort here. We're all adjusting to this change, and I wanted to share, like I said, just what we were thinking. But I think at the end, maybe by us all coming together and us sharing in the chat, that we'll have this connection, right? That is the whole theme of what John and Sean were talking about for us. So thank you. Okay, so there are 4 prompts that students are going to write with. So they are going to start with their PPR, the 4 different images, the list, it being used, the procedure, and it being called. And then students are going to answer 4 prompts. Now, I'm big on metaphor and analogy, so just stay with me here. To me, number 1 is like you've got this beautiful piece of land and you want to build a house on it. Okay. And then 2C is like the house is built. And there it is, and it's ready to move in. So let me try to explain. So for number one, you've got this land and the house is ready to be built on it. It's outside the program. You have this beautiful programming idea and you want to execute it, whether it's an app or in Python. It's something that you know that the student wants to build. That's number one. You really shouldn't need the personalized project reference much to answer number one. For number 2A, it's about algorithm development. It's all about the program. How did you build this thing? So I think about building a home, you know, what's the foundation going to look like? How are you going to set up the structure to support the house? That's algorithm development. Then errors in testing. It's all about the program and how did you test it to be sure that it worked. So that's like, how come they put the tub in before they put all the drywall on? They put the tub in and all of the plumbing because they want to check that before they put the drywall on. Wouldn't that make our housing projects a whole lot easier if we could do it in that order? Errors in testing is about just making sure that it works. And then 2C is, yay, it's there, and I can talk about why I designed the house the way that I did. It's about data and procedural abstraction. It's about the abstractions you used while creating the program. Now, can I just get a response in the chat? Which do you think will be the most challenging or has been traditionally the most challenging for students to write to? And I'm wondering.
2C, a lot of 2C. Some 2B.
Yeah. I agree.
2B, you're taking it, yeah.
I agree. I think 2C is going to probably be the most challenging and 2B is a close second. I agree. Okay, so these prompts, so none of this is created by anything new. These prompts are coming directly from the course and exam description. If someone could Google the course and exam description from 2023 and drop that in the chat, that would be super helpful. Okay, so if you opened up that, you can also, anyone at home can Google the course and exam description. And then once you have that course and exam description up, you can do a Control F and look up any of these little distinct learning objectives and find these are the big broad objectives. You can find the little sub objectives, the things that are hidden within these learning objectives. Anything in there is fair game. So notice that this first one that's outside the house, about the purpose, the output, the input, develop a program using what's the process you used to develop it, what's the interface you used. It's very, dreamlike, right, before you build the house. This one's the one that's about algorithm. How does it work? What are the expressions that are using relational operators? All this vocabulary is fair game. How do you evaluate expressions, etc.? This one is about error. Notice it's pretty. There's only 3 learning objectives to write to here. And then this last one is about abstraction. It could be about the list abstraction. It could be about procedural abstraction. I'm going to keep going forward. So in West Hartford, what we did, and I'm going to share this, and I really wish I could look at all of you when I share this. I'm sharing this because I think that it's still something that anyone can do between now and May. Please don't hear this as this is what we did and oh gosh, you're already behind. That's not what I'm trying to do here at all. I'm trying to be super specific about what we did because that's what Sean and John asked me to do so that you would be able to take what you want and sort of make it work in your system. So the first thing we did was really focus on algorithm abstraction. They've got to know how to code before they go into the create. Now, of course, this is very create centered because again, those are my marching order. There's much more to the course, but I'm just focused on the create here. So they need to know how to do sequence selection iteration. They need a procedure with a parameter. They need lists as a collection, and they need to know how to call the procedure and use a list. That's like step 1. And, that's a lot. I'd say in the fall, I had about 60% of my students that could do it. The other 40, I'm working like heck to get them ready for the skills that they'll need for the Create. Then for us in December, we did a practice Create. We did a full task and where students came up with their own idea. What I encouraged them to do was to take an idea and sort of build up off of it and to use that code for their project reference. So they were creating the 4 images in a Google Doc. And then their midterm in January was a multiple choice and written response questions 1 and 4 from the course and exam description. I chose that because 1 seems like it was the easier one and 4 seemed like it was the harder one. So it's kind of a broad swath of what the course. Again, if I'm being super honest about the students, I had to create code for some students. Again, about 40 or 30% were not able to have their own code in the time that I gave them. So again, we're getting closer, right? So, 30 is better than 40. We're getting there. So now in February, we plan to, right around the corner, we just finished our Unit 5 test, which for us is about algorithms and abstraction. And now we're going into data. The Unit 5 test, I don't show that here, I do apologize, but the Unit 5 test had a written response. I created a personalized project reference for them. I created code in App Inventor, and I asked them written response questions, again, for either adopted, so I changed 1 and 4 slightly, and then I used the other 2 from the course and exam description. I'm happy to share that. I just think it would be only of use to someone who's doing App Inventor. Then by March, I want to finish the Create. I will use a planner. I will share that planner with you because I think that is language agnostic. I want them to make the code, and I'm going to provide just-in-time training as they're coding as needed. The Create task is due in April. And they're going to finish it for me by March. And part of that is if I have somebody who's struggling, I can keep helping them even as we move on. Then, and they're of course doing the coding on their own, I can help with like the planning part. And then when it comes to the internet unit, we're going to splash, this is again, just our plan. We don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to splash in our written responses and multiple choice practice in the evening. And they're not going to have much homework related to the internet. So by day, they'll be doing the internet. And in the evening, a little bit of written response or a little bit of multiple choice practice, with the May exam being the due date. So I'm going to take these and break them down into little steps, and then I'll pause again for some more questions. So to me, the steps are first, trial and error. The students complete the Create task as is. We're going to pretend they're going to hand it in. We use the scoring guidelines. Note how important writing is. And then we realized, at least for us, I realized that students need help with their writing. I knew that already, but I let the students experience that. And the students were like, hey, I need help with writing. And I'm like, good, I can help with that. So then I spoke with English teachers and said, hey, what do you do to help your students with writing? I haven't been as worried about that before because I could just give them practice from the same questions, right? But we can't count on that anymore. They need to be able to write from prompts, and they need to recognize when 1 or 2 questions is being asked at once. So now I'm using these things called sentence starters. I just did that on our Unit 5 test. So I gave them a Google form and with the 4 questions, and number 1 on the Google form said, describe the input to your app or something like that. And so then I wrote down a sentence starter for them on the board that said, an input to my app is right. So the next time I do this, I don't want to have sentence starters for every student. But we are working toward that sort of writing independence. Seemed like it was very helpful for students. Certainly my students that the first time they did the Create sort of glazed over a lot of the detail and handed it in super quickly. Everyone took a lot longer this time, and I think that's a good sign. I haven't graded them yet. Then provide feedback to students, redo, and even again, remember that the original create task, even that thing wasn't perfect. We're all learning as we go. This is still a pretty young AP course. I'm not a night person. I'm a little tired right now. I apologize. For step 2, to me, it's about learning and practicing. And that's sort of where I'm at right now. Learn from that. Oh, okay. So you need a little help with writing prompts, or maybe you need a little help with reading comprehension. Figure out your strength. What do you need to practice? Reflect. Give students coaching, and I'm going to have a lot of back and forth after this test, I suspect, to help them to get a little bit honed on what they need to practice more. For number 3, to me, the step is code, code, code. They've got to read it. They've got to do the code. They've got to do the create. I can help with planning. I can help by planning the focus and the choice of topics. I'm not going to choose the topics for them, but I can help them. Is it too broad, too narrow, or just right? I can help them with timing, setting specific goals. I can circle the room and give them confidence. You can do this. It's okay. But I can't help with code. I can, however, notice if someone's not collaborating nicely and remind them that that's something that we really value. Step 4, they're going to write and revise the code. So they'll write their written responses to the original task. They're going to self-grade using the self-assessment. At least this is the tentative plan again. And then they're going to write written responses to the questions that are here on page 194 and check against the scoring guidelines here and here. Let me explain what I mean. All through this whole thing, I've been talking about the course and exam description. So if I click here, oops. It opens up the course and exam description. And if I go to page 194, these are sample prompts, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is what I mean when I say that they're going to write to them here. The reason I want them to do that second, apologies, the reason I want them to do that second is because I know I have scoring guidelines that I trust pretty well for this second one. They were a little tough to find. That's why I wanted to share them with you tonight. They're available on the AP Classroom, and I'll help you to find those there. But so, for example, see how it says identify for this question back in the course and exam description. It says identify an expected user. Describe one way the design meets the needs of the user. So if I go to the scoring guideline, I'm going to click here, and this is just going to a Google Drive. I can, first off, I'm going to kind of scroll down here. This is the one that's about the user. Identify an expected user. Describe one way the design meets the needs of the user. So these are scoring guidelines. I know a lot of people were saying that they wanted to know where those were. There you are. Note also that the video demonstrates the running of the program and the program code. So still, like Aisha, you were asking about looking at the code. They are going to look at the code that's shared in the personalized project reference to make sure that it has all these things. And then the video, same thing. They're going to watch the video. So all that stuff is still together, and it's going to be graded at the same time. There's 2 different sets of scoring guidelines because there's 2 different teams of people grading. And then if I went back here and I click on the second scoring guidelines here, I can see, so the written response identifies the number of times the body of the iteration statement will execute. So that comes from so many tabs. Consider the first iteration statement. Identify the number of times the body will execute. So I know that I've got 4 scoring guidelines that line up to that part of the code. Then I'll have students hand in the PPR. By the time they hand in the PPR, they should have a task that has those 4 necessary pieces. I devote a whole day to how to submit the code to the portfolio. Just getting them to translate their code from wherever, for us, we use a block-based code, into a Google Doc is a lot. And the code on and I wish I had been a little more specific here, but the code for the personalized project reference will be printed for all students. And then finally, we'll end with a review of the whole test. We'll use practice tests for those. Practice test 3 is going to be our final exam, and we're going to use the PPR for this test. So let me kind of show you what I mean here, and then I'll pause again for questions. I'm opening up Google Classroom or AP Classroom, but I want to make sure I'm not exposing my students' names. So just bear with me while I get to the right spot here. Oh, I should be in the right course. Apologies. Oh, College Board wants to know why I'm here. Okay. So if I go to, yes, I'm ready to share now. So if I go to AP Classroom, those of you, if you're an AP teacher, you would have access to this. This is kind of what it looks like when you land. When you land, if you go to the practice exam section, and then if you click on practice exam 1, for example, you can see here it says written response exam 1. If I click on that, this is exactly what it will look like on test day for your students. Notice that it sort of has directions here, you know, 1 PDF. In the program, student developed program code. These are directions to get the 4 pieces for the students. And then this question right here, it says describe 1 piece of documentation that would be appropriate to include with your program. Describe the intended purpose of the documentation by identifying who would use it and what they would do with it. That's the number 1. That's like the land looks nice and they don't need the code to answer it. An example of documentation might be a comment or something like that. So these 2 are the kind of the first set of the test. And then this is question 2, parts A, B, and C. And then if you want to kind of see, well, yeah. Okay. In the future, once we have our reading, we'll be able to provide scoring guidelines here. We can't do that because we haven't had a reading yet to do that. Okay, so I'm going to pause right there because that was a lot. How can I help?
A couple of themes came along, one of which was around how much help you can provide the kids and the strategies for offering help without crossing the code help line. Like what you're allowed to say and do with the kids.
Right. So I'm seeing scoring guidelines are available too. They are available for the one in the course and exam description, but they wouldn't be available in the questions that are on the here, Aisha, I have the document link, or maybe someone else can, but they're not available for the ones that are on AP Classroom. That's what I meant about. For Maya, oh, it's scrolling so fast. There are 2 sets of scoring guidelines because the first scoring guideline is about the video and the code, and number 1, sort of the outside view. And then the second set of scoring guidelines is just focused on number 2. That's how they decided to organize it for the reading. And the big reason why, Maya, I don't know if you want to know the answer to all of this, but I'm going to try, is because the reading, for those of you that participate in the reading, traditionally we're used to reading the whole create. The reading is going to be half and half. So half of the readers are going to focus on the video and number 1, and the other half is going to focus on number 2. John, did I answer that original question?
I think you talked a little bit about it, but there were just some questions around when you were talking about the things that you could offer to help kids. There were some questions around, but I thought you really weren't allowed to help the kids. So I'm sure you can put clarity around
I got
that.
it. Okay, yes, I forgot to answer that question. So while they're coding, you can't help them with their coding. You can help them and all of those guidelines are not made up. They're inside of the course and exam description on page 201. Right here, it would kind of go through, but we're allowed to help them with timing. We're allowed to help them with visioning for what the sort of design of the thing could be. But when it comes to actually coding and debugging, they can work with their person next to them, their teammate, but they cannot work with you. And they really should be working with just their one teammate on the code. And it's partly like, I know some people have students partner up for their code. I personally don't do that. It's really important to me that when students are writing about their code, that they understand it well, that they feel really proud about what they're writing about. And I think if the students are mismatched and one of them understands it real well and the other one does it, that's sort of setting up that student who doesn't understand it real well to possibly get very few points. Whereas they could still get something if they understood their vision, even if it wouldn't have gotten all of the points. And in terms of their character and their honor and their pride, it feels so much nicer for them when they're the ones creating the code.
Another couple of questions, Jackie.
Sure.
One was you said, and this I'm going to give you a question, but there were 2 or 3 like this.
Sure.
You say that all vocabulary is fair game. Is there a list of said vocabulary? I teach ELLs, and I'm worried about words like relational operators for English language learners. And since those words don't necessarily appear on the AP test, MC, it says. So, and then like repositories for those kinds of things to assist people who need scaffolding around language.
So repositories, that's a big, broad question. I don't know of any. I could imagine in the long run that curriculum providers might create something like that. As far as the vocabulary, I hear you. What you're saying is really resonating with me. I also have English language learners in my room, and I work a lot with them, helping them to highlight the words that they don't know and try to help them to figure out those words. One thing that we could do, so if I'm thinking proactively, one thing we could do right away is start to include that vocabulary inside of our assessments and inside of our homework and so just to get them more practice with that type of vocabulary. I've had good results with that. Sometimes context clues really help. If you're looking for the list, that would come from the course and exam description. So when you go to the course and exam description, under back here, under each of these different learning objectives, the words that are in there are what you'd be limited to. And we are super careful when we write questions to make sure that we're only using nothing more complicated than those words. They're complicated enough.
And then I got one more for you. My understanding is that after the code, video, and PPR is submitted as final, you can have them practice written responses and give feedback on those written responses. Since we don't know exactly what questions will be on the test, is that correct?
Yes, that's what I'm doing throughout the internet unit. When I said that they're the internet by day and then written responses and homework by night. And Jill is saying, I printed the course and exam description, page 168, while Jackie has been presented. Not writing the vocab. Oh, Jill, I don't understand.
Looks like she's doing exercises that have the kids pulling vocab out of the document.
Yes.
Which is also a great way to work.
Okay. Good. She's doing that right now. Yeah, Jill, I agree. Like I'm figuring this out. Sometimes I am like looking at the question again and realizing, oh, wow, I haven't even talked about that word yet. That's why Sean wanted to offer this to you because it's timely right now. We still have lots of time to sort of catch our breath and do the best we can for students to get them ready.
So I know you've got a couple of last slides in there that you wanted to go over, Jackie. So
yes.
Go right ahead.
Okay, thank you. So I wanted to share with you a couple of resources that I've found helpful. AP Central, if you click there and then you can find the prompt overview. That's where I got the slides with all the different prompts. In AP Classroom, there's the sample questions there. Those again are under practice test. The course and exam description link is here. And then I have a folder with key resources that I've sort of assembled. Some of the things in there are like the scoring guidelines that I found to be a little tricky to find. I also wanted to endorse the brand new discussion world that they've created. Danny Clegg and lots of other people are doing a really great job with what we're doing right now, trying to figure this thing out to be able to help our students as much as possible. And so, for example, this person, Brandon, posted saying, hey, I'm not sure, can students use AI while they're coding? And it seems like it's a gray area. And Danny sort of reminded, oh, yes, students can use AI to debug their program. The full text of the AI is here. What's important is that students have to be able to explain what they did well. It's and so you may find that those resources really help you. It's a whole group of people, just like you, that are asking questions and trying to be proactive to help their kids. And I wanted to take a moment here to just kind of say, we are a room full of people with amazing ideas to help their students. Also, any excuse to get a cute dog, I'll try for that. I'm wondering if you have ideas here. I shared a Create Task Planner. I shared a Create Journal. But if you've built something this year and you'd be willing to share it, now would be a really great and amazing time to do so. I know, David, for example, you created an amazing resource that you shared on the AP teacher community. So again, thank you.
Yes, if you can share those into the thread, that would be great, and certainly bring that up in our groups as well.
So I just want to jump in because I've seen a lot of questions about the PPR. So I just went in, I looked at our portfolio, digital portfolio. It looks the same on our end as it did previously. So I went instead to the AP coordinator because why not? And it said that the AP coordinator should consult with the AP CSP teacher, and like you and your coordinator will discuss whether or not you recommend color or black and white printing. They are supposed to check with you, and then they will print it out. It is their responsibility. They can pay for it. It's free. Let them do it. And it's between 2 and 5 pages. They recommend all of this inside the coordinator notebook that they do. So you guys, the only thing you should be saying is once it's marked final, they do it all.
And are you putting it one doc or 4 docs? And are you putting it on, or putting images on a doc, or are they putting up 4 image files?
I don't know the answer to that yet. I don't know that, like, I think, oh, thank you. Yeah, so 4 separate image files, that much I know, but I don't.
Carrie, unless you're an AP coordinator, you don't print it.
Right. I kind of put that in a category of not my problem. Like, right? You know, we have enough problems that we need to worry about. The AP coordinator is asking. So they're going
their manual. When they search personalized project reference, it gives them a link in all of these directions. It then tells them how to access it from the digital portfolio, how to print it, and how to assemble it. It is all laid out for them in their specific program manual. And it's the same as what they see in their digital portfolio. You guys don't touch the personalized project reference. It's just for the coordinator. You tell them what to snapshot and to submit into the digital portfolio, like always. They print it for them on the day. that's how they can choose to print it.
Yeah, so Maya, let's see. I'm trying to figure out how to, so why do the images have to be printed when the exam itself has been made online? I don't know the answer to that, Maya. I think I have a guess that it might have something to do with the portal that they're using to manage the exam, that perhaps if they have to stay in that one window and maybe the images are in a different portal, and so that's a problem.
The Blue Book locks them out. It's a secure browser.
Right.
Just like the SATs, if you saw it, it's the same thing that they're going to do.
Yeah. Okay. So again, if you've built something to help and support students in this work, and you'd be willing to share it here, that would be most amazing. Maya's saying, on exam day, when they have to make their written response, do students have access to their PPR? Yes, that is the reason they have their PPR. Yeah. The PPR is like their memory of what they wrote. But I'll tell you what, Maya, I'm not gonna have them have to work too hard to remember it the whole unit and the whole time. When we're doing exam prep, we're going to be doing a lot of writing to that PPR, right? Because I want it to be so that they hardly have to look at the PPR.
Thank you guys so much for your time. Thank you, Jackie. This has been amazing.
Good. I'm so
We are
glad.
so grateful to have you and to have you as an amazing resource. Please, before we leave tonight, and if you have not already, kindly fill out the link that Jason has pinned at the top of this chat. It's for us, it's for you. It's so that we can make sure that everything is really well targeted. It gives us an attendance. You get a fancy certificate that said you did PD on a Monday night, which is amazing. Thank you so much, Jackie. I am so grateful for all that you guys have done, and it was so wonderful to see you and to meet you and to reconnect with some of you.
It was wonderful.
All of this wonderful, wonderful stuff. I'm so grateful. Thank you for coming, everyone.
Thank you.
And this recording will be available. And thank you so much, everyone, for your contributions today. It was amazing to have so many people here. And Jason, a special thanks to you, my friend.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jason. Thank you for letting us have
You
this.
were brilliant.
Good night. Thanks, guys.
Night, everybody. And all the 19 Dana Runkles are saying good night.
Oh, I know. That's a shame.
That's all right. We'll do better next time. We're learning.
We'll only have maybe half the Dana Runkles. Agreed. Agreed, Dana.
There's never enough Dana Runkle. Thank you, everybody. All right, Jason, you can shut her down. Thank you so much.
Thank you again for your help. Happy Monday, y'all. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Monday.
Lunar New Year, Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. All good things.